This is Mark with Not Square Design, and the email address if you need to pause, if you want to get a hold of me for residential or commercial design here in Montana. We're going to go through the framing for the Goodall residence. All right, Cass, here we are on the Goodall residence. Got a hillside lot, and this will be just a quick run around the exterior so you can see what it's going to look like as a final product. Here we had to allow for the windows to open because this rake comes down further to catch the pop out for the dining room. As far as this terrain goes, it'll gently slope out. We won't have this abrupt cliff. So even this will come down at a nice gentle slope. But wanted to get on to construction documents, and so I'm not going to worry too much about this in the model. But the rest of it is really pretty accurate to make sure that we've got our relative heights and stuff working out very well. Here, everything drains to the back of the house. I guess you could call it the front, but this is the official front door is over here. So this would be the front of the house, even though the other side is the view side. We've got belly bands around, and they're 2x8 belly bands if you need them for any structural purposes. That's what we're planning for. And then this is an open vault in here for the porch. So either we stick frame this onto a ledger, or you can extend the tails on the trusses for me, however you'd like to do that. And then I've got you 14 inches of floor thickness in here for the floor trusses. And I will be continuing on with the AutoCAD drawings so that you've got what you're used to from me with the scaled technical drawings. As the model's wonderful, but a little hard to measure off of. Do have area up here where we'll just be trimming out through here to make this flush out, but it should work out fine. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. And up next is the framing. So I'd like to get some feedback on how you would like me to frame some of this out. This is the vaulted porch in through here, so I can size these rafters and see what we end up with. I didn't know if you want to continue them as tails off of the trusses, or if you want me to just run a ledger along here and frame it out, just stick frame it. So like some feedback on that. With the overhangs, this is trying to get to a 2/3 back span, and you can see there's a shift here, and I'll have to get this framed out properly. But we need to have something that'll come down to the very end here and pick up the last bit of this. There is a decorative tail on this. I just don't have that layer turned on. I think might be able to turn, might be right there. Yeah, there it is. So I've got some more length that we can pick up these lookouts off of that. Then we have the gable end. The reason we're going not just back one, but going back two is because of the desire to have 2 foot of overhang to help protect the siding, especially since the siding is sticking out from the building. There's a 2-inch gap here between these furring strips where we can put in rigid foam or mineral wool insulation, and then this will allow it to drain on through. Let's see if I can turn that off. Then you can see the furring strips in there. So you can see the ICF block that's back in there. I think that the reason that that turned back on is because I turned a layer on, and so if I want to show the floor surface, it's probably going to put that siding back. Yeah, it did. So now you can see the concrete floor here. We would excavate underneath this. Oh, let's just worry about framing right now. Never mind that. So here, what I was looking at is, do we want to rotate these trusses, or do you want to do these profiled trusses just like it's shown here? And then we'll just block this valley in, and the profiled trusses, if it's not too large for you to truck in, would come from here all the way across to the other side. There is a girder that I placed, and this is over the dining room when you see the floor plan. So I've got a girder over the dining room. This roof hangs down lower onto this plate, and so since it does, then the rake comes down too low to be able to operate this window properly without putting in like this I don't even know what to call it, crow's beak, I don't know. So here on this will be stick framed. So just looking at running those back, these are blocking up, and then down the rake will be the rafters. So the beams pick up that end. And I don't recall if you guys did sizing for beams and posts or not. If you do, I'll need the reactions down here at the bottom so I can properly size the footings. And then that's ICF back behind there. We're looking at 14-inch wood I-joists, not I-joists, but wood floor trusses through here, and I'll get you that proper layout. But they're 24 on center, and I try to do a good layout that hits as perfectly as I can. There is a girder at this location to hold the opening for the stairwell. So if you need that to be a triple or whatever, then just let me know what we need there when I get you the stuff in a plan view. Trying to think of what else is critical. Again, all of these rakes we'll be looking at, and you can tell me what you feel is better to do. Sorry, I had to get a tool. But we can bring these back, and then I'll drop this down and this down so it'll run over the top and pick up this overhang, and that would be consistent all the way down through here. So I've done it on the other roofs, but I didn't want to do all of them until I got feedback from you as to how you might want to deal with these. But basically, this would then be pulled down to where it's at, I think it'll snap to it. Yeah, right there. And then it's the same issue here. This comes down to the bottom. And then this one will go away. So now I've got the overhang coming all the way over and through. And so all these all the way up will just be brought out to where they connect. And then I've got them sitting on end so they'll be stronger. But if this is a 2-foot overhang, so I'd like some feedback on if you feel I need to increase those to a 2x6 instead of a 2x4. As you can see, it's a 3.5-inch member. I brought that one over too far, but you get the point. So that'll rake all the way up, come to the top. Here, this roof is designed so that I've got one point where I've got to deal with some drainage, but the rest of it is set up such that it bleeds to the back of the house and keeps the driveways clear. In this area above the shop, this is the bonus room. So we'll want a set of stairs. And then if these are one truss all the way across, then I would say that you would manufacture the collar tie, and that is up at 6 feet, I believe. I'll get you a section so that you can see for sure. Here is where my main concern is what am I going to have for a bottom cord. So this was designed to have a 13-inch don't know why I'm basically an insulation, blown into insulation, a heel, sheesh, a 13-inch heel design into it. But when I designed the truss system to pick up this roof, my main concern is making sure that the fascias remain consistent around the building, because that's kind of a big deal to the missus in this situation. She we've spent a lot of time trying to get it to look right, and if these didn't match, I think that she wouldn't be happy with the final design. And then, of course, in the gables, all of these will be insulated where it's appropriate, and so they'll go on up and hold that exterior insulation in any of these gable ends, just on the 24 ounce center to help hold that in. And so you can see that they'll be here, and it'll allow for drainage behind the siding, get proper drainage. Up here on these profile trusses, this is one of the things about Chief is it can't sometimes figure things out properly. So I'd need the top cord to come out and pick up and hold the fascia and the subfascia, I guess. So when you look at how these all profile out, then that's a rafter. And this is a 612 pitch on all pitches throughout the roof. And let's see if I turn the floor surface off, then you can see the floor trusses through here a little better. In the master bathroom, there is a lowered ceiling, and then there is a bench that will be framing out. I don't think you'll have anything to worry about there. We'll just frame down from your trusses. So no major concerns, but that's what that is, just so you understand what we're looking at. And in here, this is a cellar, so I didn't get the terrain to work out properly, but this actually, just consider there's no terrain here. This would all be dug out, and then it walk through. But again, in framing, that shouldn't be an issue. It should be a non-issue. Here, we'll need the proper header at this location to pick this up, unless we are sitting back here on the concrete portion in the center of the rostra. So if that's the case, then this becomes a lintel situation, and we'll just need to make sure that we probably have a combination of a lintel as well as a build-up here to get a good header in to help support this span back to this wall here. Inside this ATV garage is what this is. I think that is about all I've got for the framing at this point in time. And I've got to make some changes to the AutoCAD before I push that out. But yeah, if you've got any feedback on the way that this is framed, I would appreciate a call, and let's discuss and make sure that um, it's all going to work properly. What I've done is I've tried to pick up everything I could coming down this rake, and then this is that extra. This is a little popped out area, and so this fascia drops down below. This is the only fascia on the whole house that's down lower. Every other fascia is matched all the way around. So, being we have one fascia that's off on that back side, if it needed to change for this fascia here alone, I may be able to get that, but we'd have to make sure it looked really good with these doors. This was a big deal for him, was to have these doors facing each other. And so I want to make sure that we don't lose the architectural appeal with what we were doing there. But if you have suggestions, I'd be happy to hear them. Thanks, guys.